catch all of these games on the Varsity Sports Network app on your favorite mobile device using the Fire Stick app, the Apple TV app, or the Roku app, or on any device at varsitysportsnetwork.org. And we want to welcome those of you who have done just that to Joe A. Sterling Arena here at Apopka High School, the home of the Blue Darters. My name is Mark Barchi. I am the media director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge and a proud partner of Varsity Sports Network. And I'll be joined tonight by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief and VSN as well. And we'll be taking you through the home stretch of Day 3 here at the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.
So we begin this game, the Metro Conference being represented by East River, looking for a 4th consecutive victory. They have an 11-9 lead. This is the 21st game, of course, as Mark mentioned. The last game of Day 3. Day 3. This Yes, the largest ever, 28 games.
Of course, Neil and I remember when this used to be a 2-day event at Wekiva High School. It was just Friday and Saturday, and we did 10 games a day.
First shot taken by Mount Dora is taken by Ethan Priest. That won't drop.
Hold is called against Falcons number 30, Isaiah Williams. His first, the team's first.
So a bit of an odd matchup in the fact that you have East River, a team that went 5-16 last year. Scott O'Gallagher, their first-year coach. And obviously East River, not to try to be mean about this, but I don't really remember them ever gaining any attention. They're a team that's always looking to rebuild.
3 for Kyson Pruitt to put the Bulldogs on the board. Well, that's a way to make a splash.
East River being a team that's always looking to rebound from a poor season. And now they're taking on Mount Dora Christian, who won 26-2 last year, a perennial state championship at Class 1A and 2A, and just that quickly out to the 5-0 lead.
Kevin Frederick picks up the layup for the Bulldogs. So now the Falcons go back to work, and yeah, to your point, Neil, East River is a team that has gone through a number of coaching changes over the last several years.
Speaking of it, we talked about it in the previous game. They are one of the newer schools opening, I believe, was it 8 years ago?
2009 they opened, same year as Lake Nona.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is right. So, again, I guess I'm getting old, Mark, but still only 13 years old. And also about Mount Dora Christian, as the shot from Jordan Scott does not drop. Good hard rebounding, though, from Tristan Brown. Was not giving up on that. Steve Hayes, the coach of Mount Dora Christian Academy, he is the longest tenured coach of any in this year's tournament at 22 years. And a 5-2 ball game.
Isaiah Williams puts the Falcons on the board.
And also, as that ball is too much heat, skying for the rebound, ripping is Isaiah Williams. Number 32, that's Kevin Frederick for Mount Dora Christian, who is right now in the middle. He's wearing number 32. That was his uncle's number. Not only was he a player, the uncle, but he's the all-time leading scorer at the school. And unfortunately, he passed away. And he was a player at the school in the mid to late 90s. In the early to mid 90s, and then he passed away while he was in college just a few years later. So the number was unretired, so that Kevin Frederick, the nephew, could wear it. Kevin Frederick, the nephew, could wear it.
Putback opportunity is stripped away by Frederick.
Speaking of the Frederick. So, approaching 4 minutes midway through the first quarter, a 5-2 lead for MDCA. They scored the first 5 points, a tray from Ethan Priest, and then Frederick.
2 more for Kevin Frederick.
And then Frederick got a layup, and now, of course, he's, as you heard Mark just say, scored again, up the lead to 7-2.
And a nice spin move from behind the backboard. Isaiah Williams adds 2 for the Falcons.
So again, Mount Dora Christian Academy 26-2, Sweet 16 last year. Certainly they're looking, getting back to the playoffs really isn't the goal for that team. It's getting further
Yeah, MDCA, of course, is no stranger to the small school Final Four and the state championship game. They have been there many times, and all of which has been under Stephen Hayes, who, as you mentioned earlier, Neil, is the longest tenured coach at a single school out of any participant in this year's Metro versus Florida Challenge. I know Terrence McGriff is right behind him at 21 for Bartow.
As is Eric Robinson.
Exactly, for Auburndale. Elijah Hudson adds 2. I must be Polk County schools.
Well, we've talked about it all day, that this, first of all, just wanted to point out Mount Dora Christian, they are a regular in the playoffs. They qualify for a lot. They usually do make deep runs, but they've yet to make it to the state championship final. So certainly that is the, as they say, the hole in the resume. I've seen that a few times in sports. That coach who can't quite get that championship or a team.
And, of course, if you've been following Mount Dora Christian basketball for a long time, or even the Metro versus Florida Challenge for a long time, you may be more familiar with the MDB nomenclature, Mount Dora Bible. That is, of course, the same institution.
Yeah, they have won a state championship.
Yep, and so that is, of course, this is the successor name, Mount Dora Christian Academy. Of course, not to be confused with Mount Dora High School, who's also participating in the Metro versus Florida Challenge. They played earlier.
Yes, and of course, they've won a state championship with Scott Williams at the helm back in '97. As that rebound, skied, clearing DJ White. Looked good on that rebound. And East River looking to take a shot. Hudson thinks better. He'll settle down the team. Pass over to White. Two-man game between, that's actually Brown touching the ball, and not sure what he saw there.
Yeah, nobody was in the same zip code as that pass, so it'll be a turnover. And we're going to get a substitution. Xavier Dalton checks in for Mount Dora.
2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, a 7-6 score. Here at the Metro versus Florida Challenge, dedicated to Earl Graham, the 2022 edition. If you're new, first of all, thank you for watching us, and especially thank you for watching us at the last game as that ball slides off the rim. Frederick unable to drop it, and by the way, there are 2 Fredericks. Kevin is the starter, again wearing number 32 in honor of his late uncle, who was the all-time leading scorer for the school. The number was actually retired until this season when Frederick started wearing it. And then there's Adam Frederick. Both are seniors.
Pass inside to Isaiah Williams.
So East River with its first lead of the game at 8-7. And just that quickly.
Quick answer from Brooklyn Gaddison.
Just that quickly, Mount Dora Christian Academy takes the lead back. 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. So the Metro versus Florida Challenge, each game a member of the Metro Conference takes on a member of the Florida contingency, or an easier way to remember is a non-member. And as we come down the other end, got some contact, a hard contact here, both bodies slamming to the ground, and it's going to be an offensive charge.
Player control foul is called against Bulldogs, number 5, Kyson Pruitt, his first. The team's first, and that turns the ball over to the Falcons.
And so every school, public high school in Orange County, is a member of the Metro Conference. They are automatically made a member once the school opens. It's not like college with the conference realignment. There is no voting by the presidents or invitations or acceptance of invitations. Once the school opens its door, it's automatically a member of the Metro Conference. There are now 22 members.
Foul called against number 32, Kevin Frederick, his first, the team's second.
So along that left sideline, DJ Rate works, goes inside to Hudson, actually at the free throw, and the refs rule it will be Mount Dora Christian Academy, MDCA's ball. So
32 seconds counting down here in the first quarter.
Mount Dora Christian, MDCA opening up a 5-0 lead. East River answering, taking the lead. Mount Dora Christian re-seizing it, and now an opportunity for East River to get back in the lead. Iron Unkind Hudson looking good, but couldn't too much heat and a little bit off on the left. The slash to the right side from Roel. First time we've called his name tonight, and that will bring the first quarter to an end. MDCA, representing the Florida contingency, lost the lead briefly, but came back.
So, Neil, a moment ago you were alluding to the Orange County Metro Conference alignment, so we'll go ahead and put that up on the screen while we're at a break here. We mentioned that East River opened in 2009 along with Lake Nona, so we have 22. They were the 18th or 19th, depending on whether you want to put them ahead of or behind Lake Nona, to join the Orange County Metro Conference, and then preceded by Wekiva, Ocoee, Freedom, Timber Creek, Olympia, Cypress Creek, University, Dr. Phillips, West Orange, Oak Ridge, Colonial, Evans, Edgewater, Boone, Apopka, Winter Park, and Jones, in that order, dating all the way back to 1895.
So we begin the second quarter, 9-8 lead for MDCA. And that'll be Roel. Two-man game with Frederick. Back to the left side with Pruitt. Too much long, comes down, long rebound. And Bryant chases it down.
No action so far, 15 seconds into the second period.
Pass
And
to
a beautiful
Frederick.
inbound.
Makes the withdrawal from the bank.
That's Javi Roll to Kevin Frederick for the Bulldog bucket.
And now an 11-8 lead for MDCA. Back at the other end, stop, pop, no drop for DJ White. And I believe that was Pruitt who ripped down the rebound. And at the other end,
Javi
another bank.
Roll spins for the layup.
One minute into the second quarter. East River looking to score. They're in the white with possession. Opportunity from that left wing. Too much heat. Elijah Hudson taking the shot. And MDCA has been strong under the boards, and they continue. This time it'll result in a foul. No, actually, no foul.
Foul called against number 5, Tristan Brown, his first. The team's second. Checking into the game for the Bulldogs, Janine Andrews.
So far, it has been an entertaining game in terms of the score. Certainly, when you look at the records, and we talked about, is the spin, and nothing but net for Kyson Pruitt.
Kyson Pruitt for 2.
Perhaps you would think it would be much more than a one-point game at the end of the first quarter, although now the lead is starting to get extended, 15-8. And East River gets some much-needed points there. Iron Kind to Hudson. I'm Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, the other voice you hear, as well as handling the producing responsibilities. And up above, high above, operating our camera number 1 is Rob Gillis, as the
basket for Javi Roll.
The assault continues for MDCA. They are now on a 10-0 run. East River has led just once in this game. That was 8-7, not more than 10 seconds. And they'll continue to try to cut into that lead. Nothing doing there. And Roel, who scored the last basket, tracks down the loose ball in the corner. He'll lead the charge. Stop, go, spin. 8 feet, too short. Scooping up that loose ball is Brown. Hands it off to White, who sets the offense. Decides to take it himself. Bad angle, and that's Pruitt. Stop, pops, can't get the tray to drop. Fingertip scramble in front of the basket, goes out of bounds, and there'll be a foul as well.
Foul called against Adam Frederick, his first. The team's third. Checking into the game for Mount Dora Christian, Hayden Tombros. So the Falcons will take it from their own baseline. Just a shade over 5 minutes to go here in the first half. Again, this is the nightcap game, the final game of day 3, and game 21 of 28 overall. And we're going to get a foul at midcourt. Janine Andrews is called on the foul. It's his first, the team's 4th.
Inbound to Roldan, the 5'9" junior, and a quick whistle.
Hold is called against Bulldogs number 2, Hayden Tombros, his first, the team's 5th. So in just a matter of a minute or so, Mount Dora has racked up from having just 2 fouls, now having 5. So they are on their way to bonus land if they're not careful. And now a bad pass, opportunity for Mount Dora to take advantage. Up the paint, not there, put back, blocked. And another is finally thrown out of bounds by Tombros. Jordan Scott checks in for the Falcons. 17-10 the score here at Apopka High School. I want to welcome you, if you're just joining us, to Varsity Sports Network, where we have been broadcasting wall-to-wall coverage of the Metro versus Florida Challenge for 4 days. Other than Thanksgiving, we are back-to-back-to-back-to-back. This is the first year that the tournament has extended into 4 days. We've been at 3 for a while.
28 games. 6 teams for the Metro Conference.
Steal, opportunity, and some struggles in the key. Finally, we get a timeout.
6 teams from the Metro Conference playing 2 games. One that being Seminole for the Florida contingency. 17-10 lead for MDCA as we head into this timeout.
30-second timeout called by East River. Start.
Welcome back to Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium, Apopka High School. This is the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge. East River trailing by 17-10 score. They just took the 3-point field goal attempt at Dora Christian Academy with that lead. Couple of fast-paced possessions now. Certainly picking up the pace from what we saw most of the first quarter. I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. And high above us at the top of the bleachers, handling the camera, is Rob Gilius. Rob Gilius. And so MDCA goes back to work, looking to extend that 7-point lead. They trailed briefly by an 8-7 score in the first quarter. Pruitt with the spin, nice move, but can't get the ball to drop. Hits the back of the rim, and in the scramble afterwards, the ball goes out of bounds. It will be East River possession. So East River representing the Metro Conference, also looking for a 3rd consecutive victory. An 11-8 lead right now. 11-9 lead by the Metro Conference. Frederick picks up the ball and overran the rim. Too much speed and heat as he approached that rim.
Block is called against Falcons number 4, Elijah Hudson. That's his first personal foul, the team's 3rd, and that will send Kevin Frederick to the line, shooting 2.
And first free throw, no problem. Sweet stroke for the 6'5" senior forward. So also want to thank you for joining us on this holiday weekend, spending a part of your weekend with us. Hope everybody had an enjoyable Thanksgiving.
Beautiful pass, and then fouled. It's Isaiah Williams fouled on the way up. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Bulldogs Kevin Frederick. That's his second and the team's sixth.
Also hope everybody had an enjoyable meal yesterday as well. So Isaiah Williams at the line with 6 points. So MDCA went on a 10-0 run to regain the lead. They trailed 8-7 for about 10 seconds. Now Roel brings that ball up. Hands off to Frederick. Now who hands off to Pruitt, one-on-one with Brown. Ball shifted over to the left corner. No dice. Long rebound.
And we're going to get a foul.
Scott tracked it down, and his hustle pays dividends in the form of a foul.
Foul called against Bulldogs number 5, Kyson Pruitt. It's his second personal foul, the team's seventh, and it puts the Falcons into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1, number 2, Jordan Scott.
So a 10-0 run by MDCA put him in the lead, and now an opportunity for East River to string together some consecutive points and cut into that lead. And they're not going to be able to. Free throw off to the left. Frederick clears the board. And back the other way we go.
Three for Kyson Pruitt. So now we're starting to see the Bulldogs break away a little bit with that perimeter shot. And stolen opportunity to extend that advantage, and in this case, Pruitt will draw the foul. Fouls called against number 2, Jordan Scott, his first. The team's fourth at the line, shooting 2, Kyson Pruitt.
1:43 remaining, 21-11 lead by MDCA. The difference right now, mentioned it before, a 10-0 run starting just before the end of the first quarter. So now it's that run plus one free throw. That's the difference.
Two for two at the line. Gives him an even dozen points. A little less than a minute and a half remaining in the first half. A little scuffle on the inbound and an opportunity for the Bulldogs to hit the paint here. Nope, they're going to go out to the corner. A long two does not fall, and it bounces out of bounds off of Adam Frederick. Stays with the Bulldogs. And now we're going to get a team control foul. Illegal screen is called against Bulldogs number 24, Xavier Dalton, his first, the team's eighth. No bonus shots for offensive fouls, but it turns the ball over to the Falcons.
.110 remaining. And the 23-11 lead for MDCA. East River looking to cut into that. Of course, East River, as the name states, over on the east side of Orange County. That ball's not going to drop. Good rebound for Williams. He'll send it back out to Hudson.
Basket by Elijah Hudson down the baseline for two.
That cuts the lead to 23-13. At the other end, as we drop to 35 seconds, basket does not drop, but give credit to 35. Actually, excuse me, that's number 15, Adam Frederick. And MDCA goes back to work, looking to answer that 2 points from East River. And they won't. Ball short, but Adam Frederick with the rebound. Nice shot, good form. Too long, though. Give East River credit, throwing them off just enough with the contact. 5 seconds at the other end. And great defensive play by Bryant.
Held ball, possession, Falcons.
Bryant just sticking his hands in at that very last second and getting the held ball. So East River at least accomplishes its objective of not allowing MDCA to score. As we'll get another throw in. A foul on Adam Frederick.
Hold is called against Adam Frederick. That's his second personal, the team's 9th. That was on the floor, so it won't be a shooting foul, but it will be 1-1 for Isaiah Williams.
First free throw, nothing but net. Cuts the lead to 9. So earns the second and makes the most of it. 2 points, 2.5 seconds. Can MDCA get something going? No, they're not. It's going to be short. And so again, East River showing some resiliency, taking an 8-7 lead. But that was all she wrote as far as them being in lead and in control. A 10-0 run from MDCA, starting with a...
The Bulldogs have the opening possession of the third quarter. Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium. This is Mark Barchi, the media director for the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, with Neil Fisher from VSN and the Apopka Chief. And we have so far seen a dominant performance by the Bulldogs, although not necessarily a runaway as of yet, just an 8-point margin separating these two teams at halftime in our nightcap contest for day 3. This is game 21 out of 28 overall, game 7 out of 7 for Friday. We got 7 more coming up tomorrow, but first we got to finish this one. As we get powering to the paint, we're going to get the bucket. That's Isaiah Williams with the basket and the chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against number 1, Javi Rowell, his first and the team's first of the second half. So that's about as much as you could ask for East River to open up the contest, especially without the possession arrow.
So East River led for about 10 seconds towards the end of the first quarter, an 8-7 lead. A 10-0 run then by MDCA put them in the lead, and they have led since then.
Full court pressure coming on by the Falcons. Boy, they mean business coming out of the gate here for the second half.
MDCA does not break it. Took them too long. They didn't turn the ball over, but took them more than 10 seconds to get the ball across midcourt. So your leading scores, 10 points apiece. Isaiah Williams for East River and Kaysen Pruitt for MDCA. 11-9 lead for the Metro Conference. They're looking to score a 4th consecutive victory. It would be the last 4 games of today. The first 3 games were actually taken by the Florida contingency. Thank you for joining us on this holiday weekend. Of course, there's a lot of options when it comes to sports viewing, and we do appreciate you spending a part of your day with us.
There are a lot of options for sports viewing on a holiday week. I believe we're taking in no less than 4 of them right now, not counting the Apopka football game that's happening on the other side of the campus.
Yes, of course, Apopka playing Lake Mary. That is a regional final, a round of 8. Winner advances to the state semifinal. And Apopka, if they do, as the deuce floats in from Hudson.
Elijah Hudson adds 2 more.
If Apopka is able to win tonight, I believe it would be their 3rd time in 4 years under Coach Jeff Ralston. They made it to the state Final 4. Splash!
3 for Isaiah Bryant to put the Bulldogs on the board for the second half.
We back up to 6 at 26-20.
That 3-point lead that we had a moment ago was the narrowest it has been since the beginning of the game. And now we're going to get a foul. Foul is called against Bulldogs number 4. Ethan Priest on the block, his first, the team's second of this half.
So East River back to work, trailing by 6, 2 possessions. So again, the Metro versus Florida Challenge. It's based on the ACC versus Big Ten and the SEC versus Big 12 Challenge at the college level, the NCAA. 22 members in the Metro Conference, 28 games in total. Each game pits a member of the Metro Conference against a non-member, or as we call it, the Florida contingency. And the sweeping through, trying to reverse. That was Brown. Picked up by Bryant, who dishes over to Pruitt. Can't drop the tray. Strong rebounding here in the early going by East River. Brown clearing that rebound, and he'll come down and set up the offense. So at the end of the 28 games, we then tally which side, the Metro Conference or the Florida contingency, has more wins.
Palming, Bulldogs ball.
And as I mentioned, right now, heading into this game, it was 11-9 in favor of the Metro Conference. They are on a 3-game winning streak. Windermere, Evans, and Lake Nona taking the last 3 games. And, of course, the Metro Conference, get to that in a minute, tipped, picked up by Scott. And he won't be able to drop the deuce too hard off that backboard. Actually, that was White who tempted the field goal attempt, but too hard. So membership into the Metro Conference consists of being a public high school and being located in Orange County. And of course, the minute you open the doors, you are a member of the Metro Conference. 22 teams in all, 28 games being played over 4 days, 7 each day. The stop-and-go move in the bank by Adam Frederick.
Adam Frederick adds 2 for the Bulldogs.
8-point lead now for MDCA East River.
For DJ White.
So East River coming down and answering, right, doing the damage. Contact. And
block is called against Falcons number 30, Isaiah Williams, his second. And the team's first of this half. That will send the Bulldogs to the free throw line. This will be Kyson Pruitt shooting 2.
So East River looked to be building some momentum, and just as quickly, MDCA got the transition game going. Bryant leading the charge, making the pass over to Pruitt, and Pruitt doing the rest, drawing the foul and going to the free throw line.
So you can see he already is in double figures for today. Trying to extend on that. He does not on the first. Second is away, and that's not there either. Putback doesn't fall.
So iron unkind to the MDCA Bulldogs. And East River will go to work. Another opportunity to cut into that lead and get down to 1 possession. Beautiful interior pass. And score the deuce, the bank for Brown.
Isaiah Williams from Elijah Hudson.
So, that was Williams, number 30. After the beautiful pass at the other end, Bryant launches, and he'll draw the foul.
Foul is called against number 2, Jordan Scott, his second, the team's second of this half. At the line, shooting 3, Isaiah Bryant.
So the first 4 minutes or so of this game, not much of an intensity level. And then again, like I said, MDCA ripping off a 10-0 run, and pretty much the intensity level has been very high since then. About 100 fans in attendance for this last game of the second day. And I'd say we've been between about 150 and 200 fans here at Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium. The long-range tray Drain the rain.
3 for DJ White.
So 29-25.
It's 2 for him this half, and now a turnover as Kyson Pruitt is not able to reel it in from the other side of the court, and East River has now gotten it as close as they have since early in the first quarter, 29-28.
1 point difference, and you can certainly feel that East River cutting into that lead, and now an opportunity to take the lead. The pretend shot, 15-footer, no dice for White.
We're going to foul on the rebound. Tristan Brown was not able to go back up with a shooting motion, but still will have a Bulldogs foul called against Adam Frederick, his third, the team's third of this half.
So White cleaning the board. That'll keep possession with East River. The fadeaway from 8, nothing but air, and right place, right time. Frederick grabs it. So MDCA still holding on to that 1 point lead. And now over to my left, East River, where the Metro teams have sat all day. They got the rhythmic clapping going, chant of defense, and the ball is going to remain with MDCA. I'm Neil Fisher. Mark Barchi, the other voice you're hearing. He's also our producer. And handling our camera is Rob Cleveland. As we drop to 3 minutes, third quarter. Score the deuce. Going
Kyson
bang.
Pruitt and 1. Foul called against Elijah Hudson, his second, the team's third. Pruitt shooting 1.
So East River over the last 3 minutes or so, cutting into that lead systematically and just that quickly. The lead back up to 4 points on the three-point play by Pruitt, but also it really stems the end of that momentum that East River had been gaining. The bench now quiet. Just 30 seconds earlier, they had the rhythmic defensive chant going, and now there's another opportunity, the mistake, ball out of bounds. Errant throw by Hudson. Nice pass to Roel. He makes a nice pass to Pruitt on the other side. The spin short against the double team. Rips down his own rebound, and Bryant will reset the offense with 2:45 third quarter, trailing by 4. Roel back over to Pruitt, and Pruitt splash!
3 for Kyson Pruitt. Timeout. Bulldogs full timeout.
6 consecutive points, a pair of 3. The tray and the +1, and suddenly a 7-point lead again for the Mount Dora Christian Academy.
Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium, home of the Apopka Blue Darters. East River, a 2009 entry to the Orlando Metro Conference, along with Lake Nona was in that same class. Windermere, Horizon, and Lake Buena Vista have come since then, and you can see the other teams making up the 22 members of the Orlando Metro Conference, and they will now be taking on as many teams from the greater Central Florida area. The Mount Dora Christian Academy Bulldogs, the opponent of choice in this contest, where they have a 7-point lead after East River had it down to as little as 1, and here's the cash in for DJ White. So back to a 5-point game, and the Bulldogs in trouble.
As East River is going to a full court trap.
And it's being pretty effective.
Yeah, Mount Dora Christian got the ball over half court, but they dropped it 3 or 4 times, and then finally they dropped it at their baseline on the other side of the court, and now East River slowing down the pace, catching their breath. Extended left. Some nice passing, bullet passing as well. Not only are those passes accurate, but they are quick. They have some power behind them. Of course, Mount Dora Christian Academy staying one-on-one with their man. Good job. Launch from Scott. That'll click on the inside and bringing down the rebound, snagging Xavier Dalton. First time we've called his name tonight. 6-0 run, as Mark alluded to, by MDCA, and the change, direction and feel of this game has certainly changed. A pair of three-pointers, one on the field goal attempt beyond the arc, the other the old-fashioned, the +1. And down to 1:15 now. MDCA looking to get that lead back up to 3 possessions. The crossover into the corner from Frederick. He launches short. And Scott grabbing that rebound. So dodging a bullet. East River 5 feet beyond the arc. No dice for White. And MDCA picks up the loose ball. And this is Roll who launches, probably ill-advised, about 5 feet behind the arc. DJ White, so now a battle of long shots and rebounding. Nobody able to put the ball in the net over the last 6 possessions.
And I like the strategy by the Falcons to go frenetic when they're on defense with the full court pressure and accelerate the pace of the game, then catch their breath when they're on offense when they are in control of the ball movement. That's what they've been doing over the last couple of possessions. It's been effective, but to your point, Neil, still a 6-0 run that was finally cut short by East River, taking it back to 5. So this is going to be an interesting fourth quarter when we get to it. We're going to see who runs out of gas first. I really think that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, MDCA has been in control when they've been on offense throughout this game, and they're clearly uncomfortable not dictating those terms.
Beautiful pass into Isaiah Williams. Not able to cash in, but does draw the foul. Foul called against number 24, Xavier Dalton. That's his second, the team's fourth. And Isaiah Williams will shoot 2. So that's just exactly what you want to do. Put them in a position where they have no choice but to foul you or else give up the free basket. Unfortunately for Williams, not able to bank what he deposited there.
So East River coming off a 5-16 record. A switch at the top. Sean O'Gallagher taking over.
0-for-2 at the line. Missed opportunity to close it back to a 1-possession game.
And now the opportunity for MDCA. And they take advantage. Pruitt, splash!
3 for Kyson Pruitt.
8-point lead now, as that's the way. The
38-30 at the 12th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, presented by St. Germain Chiropractic and Burn Fat Orlando, and of course on Varsity Sports Network by the Dyer team with Keller Williams. Get the Keller Williams advantage. And we're going to start the Falcons off with a call of traveling. Bulldogs ball. Not the way you want to open up the fourth quarter when you're down by 8.
Yeah, in a 9-2 run by MDCA, bringing that third quarter to an end. As we said right before we went into that break, a 1-point deficit. East River systematically cutting it down, and then really getting spurred by a 3-point field goal from Kyson Pruitt. That one doesn't drop. And East River will go to work. 7.5 remaining in this game. This is the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge.
Now the pressure coming on the other direction as Bryant harasses Jaden Roldan and ultimately gets the turnover as we get a held ball. Possession Bulldogs. Of course, statistically, if that happens to you and the possession arrow does not favor you, then that counts as a turnover against you.
So thank you for joining us on this day after Thanksgiving. Of course, if you want to get all the information that you statistically as well as previews and reviews, still 7 games tomorrow, you can go to our website, Stop, Pop, and Drop for
Javi Roll.
That's metroversusflorida.com.
Yes, or actually, to be clear, metrovsfl.com. We abbreviate the last part of that to make it a shorter address, as the tray catches nothing but air from Roldan, and we'll get a Bulldog rebound for Pruitt. But yes, metrovsfl.com is where you can find the history of the event, the complete schedule, the scores, the links to our live stream, and of course our full-color downloadable PDF program that has the season outlooks for all 50-some-odd teams that are participating, as well as the rosters that have been submitted via Max Preps to us.
And
Foul
DJ
called
White
against number
drawing the
32,
foul.
Kevin Frederick. That's his third, the team's 5th. And it will send DJ White to the line, shooting 2 for the Falcons.
So also stick around for about 2 minutes afterwards. We have one last piece of business concluding each and every game, and that is the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player. And one last time today, if you've been listening to us all day, thank you. And I do know I've mentioned it throughout each and every game. Of course, Earl Graham, not only is his name on the Most Valuable Player, but the name of this event itself. Official name is the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. And keep repeating it because he was just so important to the youth here in Central Florida. Really the kind of guy that every parent wants his kid to associate with and look up to. Coach Graham, coached for over 40 years, not just basketball, as that ball does not drop. Give the rebound to Elijah Hudson. He did coach football as well earlier in his career.
DJ White on the way up through traffic.
And that'll stop the run at 11-2 for Mount MDCA. Cuts the lead to 40-34. And and he also handled all the logistical and organizational details. Again, those are the type of things that just, if you don't have a coach like that, the team as well as the individual coach is not going to be successful. 40 years plus coaching, spending the last 15 with Coach Scott Williams, the coach here at Apopka, also the director of this event. Came onto the Wekiva staff when Coach Williams was hired to open up the program, start the program at Wekiva, and then Coach Graham moved with Coach Williams when Coach Williams moved up the road geographically, just 5 miles apart to Apopka. But most of all, he was just such a great mentor, the kind of guy who really used the sport. Like we said, he coached mostly basketball, but football, but whatever sport he was coaching, that was the vehicle he used to teach the lessons and to help his kids prepare to be successful in life after their youth once they got into adulthood. And again, stick around. We will decide and name the Scott Earl Graham Most Valuable Player Award.
Kyson Pruitt scores 2. Speaking of MVP candidates.
Yes. And one last opportunity, Mark. Of course, if this is the first game that you've watched all day, we've also been talking about Coach Graham. Mark and I had a personal connection as we are the Wekiva in-house on-air talent team.
We get a foul called against Adam Frederick, his 4th, the team's 5th shooting.
And, of course, Mark and I had the opportunity to get to develop a friendship with Coach Graham during those first 7 years of the Wekiva program. And anything you want to add, Mark?
Well, just that, to your point, Neil, he was a coach that really drove his players on the court, but was one of the most caring souls you could ever meet off the court. He would do anything for his players and certainly did a lot for the program building aspects and furthering Scott Williams' vision in general. And certainly it is a tremendous loss to not have him be here with us in person anymore, but he is certainly still with us in spirit, and we continue to have his spirit live on through the naming of the tournament now as we get the foul called against Brooklyn Gaddison, and now we'll have Kevin Frederick at the line shooting, and he hits the first.
So now back up to a 7-point lead. East River was able to cut the lead down to 1 point, 29-28, about a minute and a half remaining in the third quarter. Then a 9-2-0 run extending into the fourth quarter, and the lead has
30-second timeout called by the Bulldogs.
The lead has alternated between about 4 and 8 points throughout most of this fourth quarter. Again, this is the last game, day 3. 2022 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. An 11-9 lead heading into this game for the Metro Conference.
Injured him.
Back to live action, 4:40 remaining, not just in this game, which is led by MDCA, 44-36 score, but of day 2. One more day remaining. Join us tomorrow. We'll have 7 more games. 11-9 lead, as we mentioned before the break, held by the Metro Conference. A whistle as Elijah Hudson going one-on-one with Xavier Dalton.
Xavier Dalton is calling his 3rd personal foul. It's the team's 7th. And that will put the Falcons into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1.
And
it'll be number 4. Elijah Hudson.
And as you just heard Mark say, bonus the rest of the way, 4.5 minutes for East River. So certainly they got the advantage there, and that also helps them out because, of course, the clock stops on fouls. Of course, you have to actually make the free throws as well for it to matter. And the fourth foul. Four fouls now on Ethan Priest. In and out, Frederick battling with a pair of Falcons. East River, and he wins that battle out to Bryant. The fadeaway finds the net.
Isaiah Bryant adds 2 for the Bulldogs, and we'll pause for a Falcon timeout now.
Lead back up to 10 at 46-36. And again, East River makes the mistake. Can't convert the free throw, comes down at the other end, and the potential cutting into the lead by 2 turns into a gain of 4 by MDCA. 3:58 remaining from Joe Sterling Gymnasium. A 46-36 lead, MDCA. That's Mount Dora Christian Academy. Expanding the lead up to 10 with 4 minutes remaining. And watch out below. That ball came right over the scorer's table.
Yes, unfortunately for the Falcons, though, Neil, you are not allowed to help as a sixth man.
So now MDCA going against the full court trap. More deliberate. They break that press, or the trap. And the end result, high risk, high reward.
Pass of Adam Frederick for 2.
Adam Frederick going big at the other end. East River trying to answer quickly, and they do. +1, make the withdrawal for Hudson.
White and 1. Foul called against number 32, Kevin Frederick. His 4th personal foul, the team's 8th.
So DJ White at the line. He'll have an opportunity to cut that lead down to 9 under double digits. So East River has been able to keep that lead respectable, keep them within distance of being able to win, but they haven't been able to get over that hump. They need to get a couple of stops in a row, and they have not been able to do that. As Pruitt lines up, long-range tray. That was NBA about 7 feet behind the arc. So opportunity for East River. Again, talking about that all game. They've had their opportunities, but they just have not been able to convert enough of them into points, where MDCA has been more steady and consistent. Of course, the difference right now is the tray drops.
3 for DJ White.
48-41.
21 points for White so far.
Of course, MDCA went on a 9-2 run. They had a 1-point lead, and that is the difference right now. Exactly 7 points. And 9-2, of course, is a difference of 7 points. 2:40. So to MDCA's credit, they scored the points when they absolutely had to. Situational basketball. This is Pruitt, back down to Bryant. Fakes the shot, drives the lane. The attack goes nowhere. Double teamed underneath that basket. East River opportunity to get the lead under 7 into 2 possessions. The deficit down to 2 possessions. And ball will remain with MDCA. 2:17 remaining. And a timeout called by Coach O'Gallagher for East River.
Start.
Back to live action. 2:17 remaining.
You saw on that screen during the break just a moment ago in the middle lines, Kyson Pruitt with 21 for MDCA, DJ White with 21 for East River. Those are pretty much your shoo-ins for MVP. It's just a matter of which one of their teams is going to take the victory as we get into the closing 2 minutes and change here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium. There's a nice inbound, and that is Elijah Hudson cashing in for 2.
Hudson back down to 5. East River's been doing this throughout the second half. Now MDCA tracks down that rebound, and they'll go back to work under 2 minutes. And it's plays like that, not necessarily the scoring. Roel grabbing that rebound. They come up with those plays, which keeps possession in
the roll.
And there you see the result, back up to 7 off the left side. And Rolo now gets a second consecutive rebound, both the same way, left side of the net.
You see East River starting to get a little bit desperate. They're going for those quick draw threes, which haven't really been falling for them tonight.
Minute and a half remaining. So the last minute 20 of day 3 of the 2021 Metro versus Florida Challenge. One more time, I'm Neil Fisher. The other voice is Mark Barchi. Not only on-air talent as the drive from Roland, the spin. That'll not catch anything but the back. He's also our director, and up in the booth, high above us, is Rob Cleveland handling the video camera. As we drop under a minute now, East River's got to make something happen. Of course, first order of business is to score here on offense. Then they need a couple of stops. And we'll have a foul.
Foul is called against Bulldogs. Number 15, Adam Frederick. That's his 5th personal foul, and he retires from the game with 4 points for MDCA.
And I could hear to my right Coach Stephen Hayes, who's in his 22nd year at MDCA, yell out to Frederick, "We don't need that." So obviously a big blow as Frederick has to come out of the game, but in the big picture, it stops the clock and gives an opportunity while that clock is stopped for East River to cut into the 7-point lead. Of course, if you're MDCA, you want to keep that clock running right now. Even if you don't score, just take some time off the clock. And both free throws find the mark for DJ White, down to a 5-point lead, 45 seconds. The full court trap coming. MDCA breaks it with ease. As Frederick, the other Frederick, Kevin, held the ball and waited for Bryant to get into position and made the pass to him.
Elijah Hudson called him his 3rd. It's the team's 5th.
It's a non-shooting foul. Again, MDCA trying to take as much time off that clock.
And this is where the fact that East River doesn't have that many fouls may come back to haunt them, because they actually had 3 fouls to give.
Well, no, now it's not actually. They have 6 fouls, so the next foul will put them in the put MDCA in the bonus, which will stop the clock. In the meantime, a timeout. I believe East River called that.
39.9 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter. And
East
a 5-point lead that the Falcons would need to surmount in that time. They have given away all the fouls that they had to give, so now we will go to the line as they need to do.
And even then, MDCA ran about 5 seconds off the clock. Good job of passing and creating some spacing.
Foul is called against number 2, Jordan Scott.
And actually,
3rd, team 7th, and that will put MDCA at the line with Javi Raul.
Actually, MDCA did run 5.1 seconds off the clock. And Roel, living up to the first half of his name, rolls the free throw in, lead back up to 6. So this is a critical free throw attempt. If he gets it, you're looking at a 3-possession game. And this time, nothing but net. 7-point lead, 3 possession, as MDCA calls the timeout.
Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium. We are going into the last 34.8 seconds of day 3. Each team has 1 full timeout remaining, so 1 more opportunity to stop the clock if they should need to. 7-point deficit for the Falcons, so they're going to need to do something pretty quickly here.
Trailing 52-45. And now they got to get a shot off, and there it is. Probably took a couple seconds too long. And ripping that rebound down, doing the Windex work, is Xavier Dalton. And that might just about put the final nail in the coffin.
Fidel Mula is called in his first personal foul, the team's 8th. The Bulldogs continue into bonus. This time the line shooting will be number 24, Xavier Dalton.
So Dalton at the line. And again, if you're Mount MDCA, you don't necessarily need to score. You just want to take time off the clock, which they did on that last East River possession. And here, adhering to my thought, he misses the free throw. East River unable to drop the free throw, and now I think that's just about going to do it. Secure the victory for MDCA. Roel doing the Windex work, tracking down that rebound in the left corner on the far sideline.
Tristan
Actually,
Brown
the right
is calling
corner.
a second personal foul, the team's 9th.
So now with 12.4
shooting
seconds.
will be number 1, Javi Raul.
So with 12.4 seconds remaining, Roel will be at the line. So East River, give him credit in Coach Scott O'Gallagher's debut as the head man. Certainly put on a show, certainly kept it close. But in the end, a 9-2 run. East River had cut the lead down to 29-28. Then the 9-2 run, beginning with about a minute remaining in the third quarter, was the difference. A couple of